Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You're Getting After. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. There's been a lot of talk back and forth. I hear Elizabeth Warren, Rashida Tlaib, and others in government have been asking Kroger, which is a large grocery chain in the United States, what they're doing with this thing where they have facial recognition in their stores, and they also have something that allows you to see the price of your food or what it is you're buying digitally rather than it just being a stamp or a little post-it or paper. The thing that this allows them to do is change the pricing without having to have an employee go out there to manually change the price. And also, when you're dealing with facial recognition, this is where it starts to get a little weird. The stores have been claiming that the reason that they're doing this is because it allows them to quicker adjust pricing with regards to supply chains, or let's say we're getting this thing cheaper tomorrow, so now we'll be able to update the price for you to save you money. Or let's say we're about to get rid of this particular product and we know we need to get rid of it quickly, so let's lower the price of it. This is all about helping you. And while I can understand one side of it, which is we can run our stores cheaper if we do not need to have as many people there, if we do not have to have a biological human being walk out to the aisle and then manually change the price on something when you're selling thousands and thousands of items, simultaneously, you mix that with the facial recognition and you get what I call a Times Squareism. So my CPA, I've been working with him for almost 20 years now. He's a great guy. And I was asking him at one point, why is it that all these cheap bodegas have all these fancy ass TVs everywhere? I noticed this just started and it really doesn't make any sense. And it seemed to become most popular around the Times Square area, 59th Street area, which is the highest volume tourist area in New York City very quick. I noticed this happened in that particular area quickest. And what he told me is that, here's the thing. It's not about being cheap. It's the tourism. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, people that show up from Bed-Stuy and East New York and Bushwick and Washington Heights, they're not going to pay $35 for a fucking omelet. But the people that are traveling here on vacation will pay $35 for an omelet. And they know when those people are showing up. So they got their little remote, and when the tourists show up, they click this, and the omelet's $35. And then when it's time for the lunch rush for all the people working in the office buildings that actually live in the surrounding areas and understand what shit should cost, that's when the pricing goes to $8 or $13 for your omelet, which is still disgusting, but we're talking about Times Square here. This is a method of being able to change pricing on the fly, and in New York City, it was very, very obvious immediately when all these TVs started showing up in Times Square in the bodegas that this is what was going on. If you don't believe this, by the way, just go into one of these places when there's the lunch rush, and then go in when you see a bunch of tourists outside in the Times Square area, particularly getting around to the really richy area, 56th and 5th Avenue, 56th and 7th Avenue, in that area. Just take a look at the fucking prices for everything. Try to be covert with your phone and see if you can get a picture of the TV, just the TV by itself. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Shout out to my personal trainer, Dr. Evil Genius, who still lives in New York City. He actually is lucky enough bastard to have found an affordable apartment in that area. Please do show a video of this. He has a YouTube channel. Post a video of this. Just go into some of those stores, see what shit actually costs during the normal hours when you have the lunch rush from everybody in the office buildings, and then see how much everything costs when you have the tourist rush during the Broadway time. You'll see what I'm talking about. The exact same thing will almost double in price. It's fucking insane. And I get why they do it. If you wanted a space that was about 2,500 square feet, 2,800 square feet in Manhattan, not even in the Times Square area. This is not Times Square. You are looking at paying $75,000 fucking dollars. This is what shit costs there. The only way to make money in that city is to milk and rip off every single person who shows up as much as humanly possible. I understand why they're doing it. If they don't rip everybody off, they will not be able to pay their rent, and they will go under, and they will have another store that says retail space for lease like the rest of the city. They'll make it right, though. The price changes constantly, and it is not in your benefit. Imagine walking down an aisle at the grocery store, and because I'm dressed in this fucking Banana Republic factory outlet bullshit shirt that I got for $15, they think that I paid $65 for this shirt because this is what this piece of shit retails for if you actually go into a store, and they think that I have some money. And as a result of that, I wind up paying $8 for this batch of bananas rather than $3 because they think I'd be willing to pay for it. If I think that's what everybody else is paying because everybody else is in the store and they're not starting a riot, I may just be socially engineered to believe that that's okay. And that's the problem here. They say that's not what they're using it for. Do you believe that shit? I like the idea of being able to change prices on everything very quickly. I used to sell LCD screens on eBay, and I had about, I think, 38 different product lines that fit into about 6,000 different laptops. I would use a CSV file. I would use Microsoft Excel back then before I knew how to use OpenOffice to be able to change everything using something called File Exchange. If I had to go out there and change the price on 2,000 different products manually to keep up with the fact that the prices from my suppliers were changing all the time, I'd be screwed. A lot of these products were products where I was buying them for $35. I had to offer free shipping. eBay and PayPal fee is somewhere about like 10% when you add all the shit up with the final value fees. The shipping is $7, $8. I have to sell this thing for $50 to compete. I'm lucky if I make $1 or $2 in profit. So this stuff is constantly being adjusted. And if I had to do that manually, I'd be screwed. I understand the idea behind wanting to change prices quickly. And I don't mind if you have an electronic price tag. That's fine with me. The facial recognition AI shit, fuck out of here. Like, no, you get one. I prefer to not have the facial recognition AI shit in the store at all. But if you're going to do this digital price tag and facial recognition AI thing, it's like you get to choose one. You don't get both. You get an employee to change the prices, and you have all this facial recognition camera AI shit, or you get rid of all that stuff and you have the digital price tags. Personally, like, pick one. You don't get to have both. Because when you have both, I guarantee you, I bet my balls, I bet my cat, I bet my house that at some point in time, I'm going to be walking down the aisle looking like a schmuck. I'm going to pay $2 for this. And somebody else is going to come down the aisle looking properly groomed and well-dressed, and they're going to wind up paying $6 or $8. Like, that's how this works. Just if you don't believe me, just go to a Times Square deli in a touristy area where you have all the office workers rush in at lunch and look at the prices of everything, and then look at what it says on the TV when the tourists are there. I know I'm not supposed to say this. I feel weird saying this because I feel like I'm ratting on it because people don't talk about this shit. Like, it's one of those insider business owner things, but it's just skeevy. If this becomes a thing, I'm going to walk into the grocery store with this lady's mask on. Maybe I'll have a name tag on. Instead of saying Louis, it says Luigi. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. When you go to the grocery store, if you go to Krogers, wear this mask. Something tells me your prices will go down.